What's going on, everybody? Waiting for the crew to show up. The boy Vin in the house, coming live and direct on the set. Nobody's talking right now. Good. Let me put it up on Facebook. Penny royalty. Jay in the house, Corey in the house. Days, they are the highway kind. In the house. Tasco in the house. Corey in the house. No topic, man. It's just free-flowing convo. Free-flowing convo, ladies and gentlemen. While I attempt to get Facebook up and running, because I put this security feature in there and it's killing me right now. That's so frustrating. Let me see. Someone try to log into your account, blah, blah, blah. That's because it's me. This was me. Save it. And let me get in the freaking thing so I can tell people about our Fireside. Lighting should be fixed now, guys. I am on the way. Do I golf? No. I'm going to get off the stage for 2 seconds so I can put this on Facebook, and then I will check again all your thingamajiggies. Okay? Just stand by. Khalid, are you guys pregnant again? Yes, we are, Khalid. Okay, hold on. Border Village. I got to get back to my people. So post that. Bada boom. See, Fireside time. Hold on, guys. I'm coming back without my right hand. Sorry, so it's getting a little hectic here, but I shall overcome. I wish Stephen Nealis was in this chat. Oh, man. What is it again? Middle America. America group. Fireside time. Coming, guys. I'm coming. I promise. Just give me a second. One last thing, Patreon, and then we're going to be rocking and rolling. How is everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's healthy. Don't forget to wear your mask. Home post. New post. Text. Fireside time. There's the link. Control V. Who can see it? Everyone. This is for the public. Publish now. And it is up. Okay. Now you guys have my undivided attention. Okay. Elio, Mike in the house, doing good, staying safe. That's what's up. I have a question about BLM. Go ahead. I'm scroll. We got BM fan. We can do we can do without the Nazi. Amy Lee in the house, and I just jumped into bed when notification popped. Take your rest, Amy. Tomorrow, I promise you, we'll hang out. I failed a friend today who committed suicide. Chris, unless you're in the fraternity that we're in, nobody will ever understand what that means. People immediately try to rush to you and tell you that it's not your fault. But that is that's something that you just cannot shake sometimes. So I understand how you feel. I've been in the situation twice. There's one of them where I really felt like I missed a lot of signs, which I did. So, you know, you've got to kind of work through it. But yeah, that's a hell of a thing, my guy. That's a hell of a thing, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. What's up, MDEF fan? You know, Chris, there's a story that I was watching, not on Joe Rogan, but on the Jocko podcast. I'm going to try to find the guy's name. Dakota Meyer. It's Dakota Meyer. He was a Marine guy. He won the Medal of Honor. Basically, like 4 of his guys were basically behind enemy lines or something like that. And the command was telling them that they couldn't go rescue them. So they were basically hearing all, their friends getting shot up on over the radio. And so he finally decided with another guy that they were going to go right in there by themselves. And this is one of those things where like the place was literally, I mean, these guys were so close. I think I'm pretty sure they're in Afghanistan. It was the tally. These guys were so close that he actually had to kill one of them with a rock. I mean, it was basically 2 versus 50 guys. And he just drove straight into it. And he was saying, like, I was just waiting for the black because I knew I was going to die, but he basically couldn't live with himself if he left his friends hanging like that. Obviously, I mean, he miraculously survived, but all of his friends were dead. The command got fired because they dragged their heels on it while those people died. And he got the Medal of Honor, and then he rolled up into a parking lot and put a gun to his head because he felt so bad about being honored when he was honored for the action that he took and his buddies died. And he said, I went in there to save them and I failed. That's just the objective truth. And obviously there's a sense in which that's true. He failed. But when you're in the middle of that feeling, you don't see all the things that you did do. So he didn't see all the things that he did do. He was in an impossible situation. He put his life on the line, and all of us are looking at him like, come on. But his friend, his friends died. And so he wanted to kill himself. And the only thing that kept him going was the fact that his friends would want him to live. So on the one hand, you can say you failed your friend. And I don't know you very well, and I don't know your friend, but I'll tell you this. I'm pretty certain if your friend could talk to you, he would probably tell you that if it wasn't for you, he'd have been gone 2 years ago. So that's the other side of being a survivor of this stuff, is that you always think about the misses and the opportunities that you miss, but you almost never think about the fact that you did a whole bunch for the person, and the fact that having your friendship or your partnership or whatever the relationship everybody lost actually extended their time on the planet. So that's the best I can do because that's where I am. And it's been a hell of a thing. So there you go, my guy. Okay, so I was looking. I was looking away because I was talking to one of my buddies, Chris. So I'm reviewing comments now. And thank you, Chris, for sharing that. God made us social animals so that we could multiply joy and divide sorrow amongst each other. So if I can carry 2% of yours, my guy, then it's a good day. So thank you for sharing. Elio Mike, I had a couple suicidal subjects that I tried talking down in person and didn't end well. It sticks with you. Mike, same thing. Same thing. So shout out to Elio Mike. That's a side of policing a lot of people don't hear, is having to play all those different roles. Shout out to Elio Mike for that. Did the core shirt not fit me? No, the core shirt fit me. Sori is the one that does the laundry, so let me follow up on that. A Canada Day fireside. How thoughtful. That's right, Neil. I said it's Canada Day. Google. It's Canada Day. So that's why I did it. Then I got contacted by my aunt today and was asking for forgiveness. Her and my mom sexually abused. Should I forgive her? Well, as a Christian, I'm going to say yes, because that's what Jesus told us to do. Here's what I will say about forgiveness and your mental health. So forgiveness does not mean that the relationship goes back to normal or even that you talk to the person ever again. Forgiveness means that internally and emotionally, I'm going to let go of the right to punish you or to see you punished. So I'm going to let go of the right of that emotionally. Notice I said emotionally, because there's a lot of people that use forgiveness to manipulate people into not going to the law. So here's what I would say on a practical mental health side. If you've got a burning coal in your hand, the tighter you grip it, the more damage you're going to do to your hand. And so if you let that thing go, then you can start the healing process. And so that's what I'd say about forgiveness. Forgiveness is what happens when a person places a hot coal of evil done to you into your hand, and you decide to drop it so as to heal yourself. So I would absolutely recommend that you forgive them internally. It's probably beyond the statutes of limitations for you. But yes, I would hope that you'd forgive them for your sake most of all. Because you're my people. I don't know these other people. So I'm not going to say I don't care about them, but you're my primary concern at this point. So there you go. It is 10:20. Heavy stuff, guys. Thank you so much for sharing that, both of you. That's amazing that you guys would do that. Did you see The Irishman? Do you think you can live a life of sin like the main character and just before you die find God and still be saved in spite of your lifelong behavior? Yes, I do. I haven't seen The Irishman yet, but I plan on seeing it. I do believe that you can live a horrible life of sin, and in the end, if you really ask for forgiveness, God will forgive you. Here's what I would say, though. I would say that genuine deathbed repentances are they're extremely rare. And I'll tell you why from a biblical perspective. So from a biblical perspective, all of us are born in sin. But over time, the longer that we are away from God, the harder and harder our heart becomes. And the harder your heart becomes, the more difficult it is to hear God's voice. And it's harder to do the things that you should do and avoid the things that you shouldn't, because over the years, if you make a practice of living life without God, the harder and harder your heart's going to get. So if you carry that principle out to the deathbed, then it becomes very unlikely that a person would even feel that need as they're dying. And so that's what I would say. I would say, yes, it's possible, but I wouldn't bank on it personally. Because people may not be able to believe. There are instances in scripture where it's basically this person's kind of completely locked into their sin and they're never going to believe. And so that's a pretty scary thought. Shalom. The way you guys discuss a song and let discussion run its course is really cool. Thank you very much, Krishna. Jai. I appreciate it. Please, Vin, I need your opinion on something. Okay. On a lighter subject, any thoughts about the Dixie Chicks changing their name? I just think it's silly. I think it's silly for them to change their name. Dixie Chicks, Lady Antebellum, the maple syrup stuff. I think all that's crazy. I think it's all crazy. Do you think we will get debates? You mean debates between Trump and Biden? I think yes, because I think Trump's going to force the issue, because I think Biden's going to be dead in the water in the debates. So I don't know. Hey, Ruth, how are you? I haven't heard from you in a while. It's good to see you. How does it make sense that someone who's done the most heinous crimes possible, who repents on his deathbed, would go to heaven, but a kind-hearted person who lived a good life would go to hell? Well, that is hey, Paul McCartney. Where's John Lennon? Get it? Where's John Lennon? Paul McCartney? Vin, one relationship question. Okay, hold on, Amy Lee. I'm going to attempt to answer that, but I wanted to answer the other guy. How does it make sense? Well, I think it's a challenging question to some degree, but here's what I'll say. Heaven and hell, I don't talk about heaven and hell a lot, and I generally don't use those terms. What I talk about is there's people that want to be on God's team and want to build God's world, and then there are people that are not on God's team and want to build their own world, right? And so my concept of the afterlife is everybody who wants God on God's terms gets to build a new world with him. And everybody who doesn't want God on his terms, but wants to operate on their own world and their own terms, they get a segment of the universe where they can go and do that. Now, from a biblical perspective, an existence like that away from God is hell or hellish. And I believe that in the next world, we're going to continue to build culture, build societies, et cetera, et cetera. And I think a society built by people who have rejected God all their lives and are in a state where there's no grace in their heart to stop them from sinning, the society that they will create after 10,000 years would be an absolute hell. And the society that people would create on God's side 10,000 years down the road would be an absolutely heavenly experience. So if you frame heaven and hell that way, then that question becomes easily understandable in the sense that the person who's lived a very good life, but he doesn't want God as part of that life, God says, okay, I'll give you a piece of that universe. The issue is you don't understand the implications ultimately of what that means. So that's how to answer that question. Very challenging question, for sure. Why do you monetize video if they get demonetized anyway? Because that YouTube, Google is more amenable to putting you at the high point of the algorithm. I think like 80% of I think it's 72% of our unique views come from the suggested page on YouTube. And so even though I'm not making money, we're essentially saying, hey, YouTube, we will give you, we will continue to let you generate revenue off of us in exchange for you continuing to put us in a good place in the algorithm. So that's the strategy behind that. So there's a sense in which we're kind of buying algorithmic space by allowing them to run commercials on our thingamajiggy. Sori's a little bit sick, and so she's laying down. Okay. Relationship question. Why do men get so possessive as a relationship progresses? Shouldn't it be the opposite? Yeah, I think the stereotype is generally that men do that. What's interesting is I'm not that way, but Sori is that way. Sori's very, I don't know how much to say without getting myself in trouble. I think the best version of that would be me saying, well, the more and more the guy knows a girl, the more and more he is afraid of losing her because she's making his life so awesome. And so that fear gets manifested in possessiveness and things of that nature. That would be my best stab at it. Hey, what's up, Brazil? I come in and MDEF fan leaves. Or BM fan leaves, sorry. Finn, do you think being a non-believer by choice and still being a good person with good human morals can be called a sinner by God and will serve some kind of punishment? Well, dethroner, that's a loaded question, right? Because first of all, you have to define what goodness is. Then you have to answer, well, who determines what goodness is? And I think once you answer that question, then I think the other answers will come into play. Good question, though, Dethroner. How much do you think nukes have affected climate change? I don't really know. Climate change is one of those things where I actively say to myself, I don't have the time to really investigate this. What do the experts say, or what do the majority of the experts say? And I just take what they say by faith. I'm just being honest with you. So that's one of those things where I haven't, really looked into it. I just default to the science on that one. Would you ever consider visiting Mexico? Where's a place you'd never want to visit? I actually went to Mexico one time, 2 times. But it wasn't a vacation. But I actually, no, I wouldn't go to Mexico. That's not because I have an issue with Mexico or Mexicans. It's just associations. Christopher Hansen, thanks, buddy. Rock on yourself, my guy. But if you're there, Jesse, then me and Sori might have to change. Vin, do they grow food in heaven? Probably. I'm not sure. Tijuana here. What's up, brother? Bricktown in the house. Hey, Bricktown, did we ever reschedule that? Did you ever get Ring Central figured out? How do you feel about the chop finally being stopped? I have purposely kind of dodged the chop situation because I really don't feel like I have a handle on it. And I think there's a whole bunch of intricacies that I don't know about yet. So, you know, I want to speak directly to, you know, reliable sources on it, and then I'll come out and let it fly. Glad you're live again already. Do you end up watching a bit of Dark after the last Fireside? If so, do you have any thoughts on it? No, although AO, there's one time when we did a Hail Satan review where we just sat and watched Hail Satan for about 2 hours, and I had a Satanist with me who was very educated, and we went back and forth. How long is Dark? Because I might do that for, I might do another watch along. I think the watch along was actually pretty fun. It's not something I'm going to be able to publish because we're going to get a copyright strike, but doing it live, I think, would be pretty fun. So there you go. Chop had segregated gardens. What do you mean by segregated gardens? I'm not really going to take a lot. I'm full disclosure here. I'm not really going to take a lot anybody has to say about the Chop unless I hear it from M-Death Fan or Zonia, because they kind of come from that world. So there you go. What's your favorite religious movie? What is my Tejas Rob? Tejas, I was never mad at you. I was never upset at you, not for a single second. What's up, E-Fog? I'm hearing a lot of terrible things happened in the... Whoa, Sean. Damn, bro. There's so many things I want to do. One of them is talk to you. I find it interesting that you constantly state phrases from the Quran, such as Subhanallah. Well, that's... I spent a lot of time around Muslims and Islam and all that jazz, so that's why. And I love how they include God in the mundane of life. I love that too. Racially divided gardens. What do you mean, racially divided gardens? I gotta keep track of that. Keep track of this stuff because I'm not saying you're lying, bro. It's just crazy. Racially divided gardens. Hell in the world. That's so crazy. There's going to be an MA episode on that and the mindset behind it soon. So stay tuned, guys. Not sure if you saw this. Say what? Saw what? We have oh man, yeah. Me and Sori were just talking about that. Missing live rock shows. Am I good? Yeah. I've got to wake up really, really early tomorrow. So I took my Unisom a little bit earlier. But you know, I would be, you know, trying to basically doing my planks and then going to bed. But I said I was going to do a Fireside pretty early after the next Fireside. So I'm like, let's do a Fireside. So there you go. Favorite religious movie? Ah, man. I feel like The Matrix, probably. I think The Matrix is my favorite religious movie. I think Islam is the world's worst religion for women. You know, Aisha, which was Muhammad's favorite daughter and where a lot of the traditions of Muhammad came from, said, I have never seen women suffer like Muslim women. She said that to Muhammad, actually. So your point is well taken. I do think there's a way to read and apply Islam that is very woman-friendly, but your point is very well taken, for sure. I'm from the year where the chop was. So happy I moved. I can understand that. Email go through. Not sure if it did. Do me a favor and just resend it, bro, because I literally get hundreds of emails a day. So I'm trying to. You send me an email and then that'll end up at the top of the chain, so I'll be able to look at it. Are you an insomniac like me? Yeah, bro. Yeah, I went to bed like 11:30 in the morning yesterday, something like that. So yeah, I am. Have you seen the movie Religulous with what's his face? No, I've seen little clips of it. But I haven't seen the whole thing. What do you say to the notion that saying neutral is equal to siding with the oppressors that don't want change in society, or at least staying quiet and not broadcasting your beliefs? Me and Kellen Dross had a conversation about this where we said, I think everybody believes at some level that there are certain social issues where to take a neutral stance on something is evil. So, for example, the Holocaust. Right? Like if you took a neutral stance on the Holocaust in the middle of Germany, I would say that you were an immoral person. So I think everybody has to decide for themselves what that line is, right? And that's not a simple question in the least. Yeah, so I use the Holocaust and Cal used hurting kids as a well, I didn't say Kel and Z were experts, but they know a lot more than, in my estimation, than anybody else on the topic. Could you help me on a subject that hurts me? I will try, by God's grace, to help you, brother. Why is there so much Holocaust denial and anti-Semitism in the church? Well, I mean, being a Protestant, I can only speak for Protestants, but Martin Luther was under the belief that the reason that the Jews rejected Catholicism was their overreach with Mary and the statues and things like that, and he believed that once the church was reformed, that the Jews were going to come in droves. And they didn't, and it made him extremely furious. He wrote this pamphlet called On the Jews and Their Lies, which was then picked up by Hitler. So the church has a long-standing animus with the Jewish people, unfortunately. And initially, it was going both ways. As a matter of fact, the Jews were initially the hostile ones. But as Christianity began to gain power in the 4th century and things of that nature, then it got real tough for our Jewish friends. Okay, this John guy had a question for me. Somebody tell me how to slow this thing down, man. Okay, so there it is. Could you help me on a subject that hurts me? That's John Martin. And I'm trying to find him. GG Allen live reaction. I doubt very highly that that's coming anytime soon. NMJ, I actually do know who you are, because you're up on the prayer board. So there you go. My favorite reaction channel for the past couple of years, I've never had a single comment responded to. Still love you guys. Well, that is unacceptable. Let me see what I can do here. See what I can do to make it up to brother. Let's go to listings. Where's Lace? Lace, what size are you, Lace? I feel like since I am white, I am hated. What makes you feel hated for being white? Have you read both the Satanic Bible and the Quran? Which is actually more evil? I don't really. I don't think I would characterize the Satanic Bible as being aggressively evil. It's just a lot of self-empowerment. You know, I kind of called it like the dark Tony Robbins book. So I don't know. That's a crazy answer to the question, but there it is. She was in Latvia doing missions work. So that's what she was doing over there. Jordan Peterson makes sense to more than any other lecturer out there. Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of Jordan Peterson. Big fan of Jordan Peterson. Okay, so Lace. I'm looking for Lace. Where's the big homie? He goes weed for sure. That'd be awesome. It's 3 seasons, 26 hours long altogether. It would be incredibly interesting to hear your thoughts about it as they surface. Oh, it's a show. Let me think about that. Vin, I think I have a solid argument that can prove that morality exists in spite of religion, not because of it. Yeah, Ben, I mean, call me up and lay it on me. There's a prayer board. Yes, Ernie, there is a prayer board. Hey, Satan is here. Fan of your reaction videos. No doubt, buddy. Appreciate you. The chat's moving way too fast. Can't get a word in. We already tossed your name on the prayer board, Jay. That was last time we chatted. Will Sori join Fireside? I hope she does. Like I said, she's a little bit under the weather, so I'm not sure. Dark is a great series. I'm just starting season 3. Favorite rock song? Jacob, favorite rock song is Got the Life by Korn. Do you think governments, communist, socialist, capitalist, are inherently evil by nature, or is it corrupt people within those governments that are evil? Yeah, I think that's such a good question. I got to stop. Okay, here's what I was going to say. There's nothing wrong with any system. It's just the people running the system. That's what I was going to say. But I'm not particularly certain that that's the case with capitalism. I'm not sure. I'm gonna or full-blown communism. I'll have to think about that. That's a very intriguing question. Very intriguing question. Ernie wants to be on the prayer board. Well, my partner in crime isn't here, so I'll put this here so then I can make sure brother's on the prayer board. Very important. All right, let's just put prayer board there. So I spend a lot of time of my life in this room, and so there's a board right in front of me. So there's like shirts and all stuff that keeps track, and then we got the prayer board right there. And so if I'm typing around or something like that and I'm distracted, I can look at it and remember to pray for those people. Having a dream of falling from space to Earth means I'm a fallen angel. No, I don't necessarily think that. No, I think Sori might be making a appearance. Frank, if you like Rogan and Jocko, you might like. Yeah. I'm a fan of Tim Pool. I've quoted Tim Pool a bunch of times on the Middle America channel. I like his style, and I like his. I'm a fan of Tim Pool. What did Ernie want? Ernie, what'd you want? He didn't mention it, so maybe that's by design, you know. Excellent. Why do you like Korn so much? They're trash. Because they were the first band. That was the first time I saw a musician bare his soul in public like that. And in the community where I come from, you just don't do that if you're a man. And so it was just mind-blowing to me. That's why I'm such a massive Korn fan. Vin probably put my name on the prayer board after last night's Middle America video. No. I enjoy that stuff. I think people. It's hard to gauge tone in text, but I enjoy that stuff, and I especially enjoy the girls lighting you up there, Kel. I know you're a big Jordan Peterson fan, but thoughts on his assessment of postmodern neo-Marxism once you see it by the way, dollar is because you have yet another child coming and you finna need it. Thank you, M. Death Fan. I think, okay, so need you. So Peterson was massively affected by Solzhenitsyn's works. And so, in my opinion, I think some of his criticisms of Marxism or cultural Marxism, I think, are viewed through the lens of the worst possible version of Marxism and communism. And I'm not particularly certain that his position on it is nuanced enough. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Hey guys.
Sori looks beautiful even when she's sick. I know, right? I know. Full Undertow album by Tool. Most evil song you've ever heard. I looked up. I don't know what I was doing.
There was one about that, like horrible things being done to a baby over a crib. That was pretty terrible.
Yeah, but whoa, overshadow Sean. I appreciate it, my brother. I went to this thing. Something popped up. It was like the top 10 scariest moments in whatever, and there was this one song that was played, and it was just very, very disconcerting. I forgot the name of the song. I'll try to find it and maybe do like a quick 5-minute reaction to it. But that was the most evil song I'd ever heard, and the video was just not a good feeling. Thanks, Glenn. Larry's dad. Yeah. I think about Larry's dad a lot. So, yeah. Hey, Vin, do you think jet abuse airlines jet engines run on compressed air? I have no idea what that is, so I can't help you with that, buddy. Favorite Chris Cornell song, Like a Stone. Like a Stone is my favorite Chris Cornell song, and that's like really in the top 10 for me all time, actually. Lane Chaser. Thanks for reply. I like XXL. My favorite band is Mars Volta. There it is. XXL. All right, so let's see. Let's get this going. There's a shirt. Mars Volta. I feel like there was somebody who was a big Mars Volta fan. But I can't put my finger on it right now. Size XXL. That's 2XL, right? I think Comfort T. See to check out. Contact info. Christopher. Let me edit that. New address.
I missed you.
I missed you too. Hey, Lace, do me a favor. Send me an email, vinandsori@gmail.com, and send me your name and address, please, because I don't want to dox you out here. Hey, Vin, been waiting for you to react to Slipknot Eyeless for about 1.5 years. Yeah, man, I should bring Sori back to that old school Slipknot. Four-Walled World is possibly mine from Chris Cornell, or Slaves and Bulldozers. Whoa, that's a pretty provocative title. Signing of Cam Newton.
Sori is clearly the brains of the operation.
Facts.
No, it's not true.
Facts. Sori, Cam. I think the Cam Newton thing is great for the Patriots. I'm a diehard Tom Brady fan, so I'm a Tampa Bay fan now, but I think he might be able to pull it off because those guys can get an extra 4 or 5 seconds to make some separation. What's up, Zombie Holic? I appreciate you.
Zombie Holic is a girl. I think I figured that out today. Are you a girl?
Wish I had money to send, but business sucks here in Seattle. Man, Bill, it sucks all around, my dude. So don't feel bad about that. You're here. Being here is supporting us too, man. hanging out with people, you know?
Overshadow.
If you want to throw my name on that prayer list, I'd appreciate it. Nothing particular. More prayers for your boys, always a great thing.
Mm-hmm. I'll put it right here, and then I'm going to add all the list of names.
Is that Sean?
Yeah. But I like to, I don't put Sean, like I put overshadow Sean, so I know which it is.
I know.
God, I can't stop yawning.
Isaac Pretty bothers me a lot. And the reason it bothers me is because that melody, the background melody to Pretty is like, I listened to that song when I first followed the leader. I listened to that song probably 40 times in a row. Then I figured out what it was, and that was very disturbing. But I love that chorus so much. It's disturbing to me because I love the vocalization, but obviously the story's terrible.
Somebody, I just missed who said it, but they said, Tom Brady's a bitch and the NFL sucks.
He's a 6-ring having bitch.
They said you're smiling now. Do they think it's me?
Probably, for sure. Yesterday was 28 years since my car accident. I'm so thankful to be here.
Wow.
I was a year and 4 months. I was a coma for 30 days, completely blind for a little while. I'm so thankful. Bro.
That's scary.
Bro.
That's scary. We just met some guy. Well, I met him for the first time, and he was in a massive accident. I can't believe he survived either.
Oh, the dude from yesterday? Yeah.
He broke his neck, his back, and all kinds of stuff. Look, Zombieholic is she's like, I am female.
Cassia in the house. Hey, you caught a Fireside. Cassia in the house, y'all. You know, I say like the world famous Cassia Bell, blah, 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 in Middle America. There she is, the world famous. She can write her ass off, by the way. She's been doing Jay's poetry stuff. She's been killing it. So come and welcome to the big homie Cassia Bell.
Fill it with water from the room, please. Thank you.
And when you pass the bottle, pass it this way, please. Not over the computer. Oh, Taya Black Rose. Nothing to oppose to Afghanistan video, but why are you concerned about lives of Russians who work for government, which will kill Ukrainian, Georgian, Syrian, and other civilians over the last 2 decades? Taya Black Rose, we were supposed to have a conversation. So if you could call me, I could break down why I'm concerned about those lives. Good question. Jazakallah.
Thank you. Must be in the middle of playing.
I'm on,
that's quick.
I'm on Skype. Vin and Space Sori from Skype. Egregious Humanity in the house. Man.
Hey, Blastoid.
You remember Egregious Humanity?
That sounds familiar. Ayo, do you have any thoughts about Lucifer and Jesus sharing the moniker of the Morning Star and Jesus' title at the beginning and the end?
Yeah, I'll deal with that in a second. Watch the Trump Russian bounty vid. Quick update from the field. We're not dropping like flies out here. That's Seven Dusted. Seven Dusted, I was going to actually reference you in the video, but I decided against it because, we're actually friends and I didn't want to use you. But yeah, they're not dropping like flies over there. And this is a guy that's he's in the field. Hey, Megatalica, first Fireside. Do you have any thoughts about Lucifer? Oh, there it is. The Morning Star and Jesus' title as the beginning and the end. So yes, the Morning Star, Satan is called the Morning Star, I believe in Ezekiel, in one of the lament poems. And then in Revelation, Jesus calls himself the Morning Star. And I would say that the reason for that is that Satan's whole thing was he wanted to occupy a divine position. And so I think that when it's applied to him, it's applied to him in the sense that that was his self-understanding. But when Jesus showed up, he calls himself that to basically say, I am the true Morning Star. Satan was an imposter. He calls himself the Alpha and the Omega because he is a divine being. So he's God, very God of very God, as the creeds say. True light of true light. And so he calls himself the Alpha and the Omega for that purpose. Any chance you might react to the Scars Dimitri song? Yes, there is a chance for sure.
I literally just messaged. We don't have any on the short list so far.
Yes. Thanks, Seven Dusted, for his service. Mashallah.
What's the point of prayer when it's likely to go against God's plan?
Have you heard Opiate by Tool to rally humans take down on religion? Yeah, I think we did that during we did an entire live listen on that record, Casual, so we had a breakdown of that. I think you can find it in the thingamajiggy.
Prayer is, a way to get to know God and to get closer to God, but there are stories where God switches his plan because someone prayed. So
yeah, true. I'm gonna destroy them and start a new line with you, as he said to Moses. Moses is like, chill, son, chill.
Overshadow Sean. Prayer is metal.
100%, Sean.
Thank you.
Whoa, look at that. Hey, Sori, a while back in a Fireside, you told me to try prayer for my sleep paralysis. I have, and so far it's working.
Oh, I know. I tell everybody that. I've never met anyone it didn't work for. If you're serious about it,
believer or unbeliever.
Yeah.
Wow.
I tell them all, just pray to Jesus. Ask him to help you.
Wow. See, that's why we need you, because I'm going to come up with some, this is what sleep paralysis is, and this is what Augustine said in the 4th century, and then Tertullian said this, and blah, 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 blah. People's eyes glaze over, and they're getting terrified every night. Sori shows up. Just talk to Jesus. God's like, you dummy. Why can't you be like your sister? You would agree that God doesn't necessarily intend to work in prayer alone. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Amy Lee, you did send it. No, Cassia, I don't think that I've had any weird cravings. I'm so tired. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm past 35 now. Well, I am 35. So, like, I just feel super, super tired during this pregnancy. But I don't think I've been eating a lot of fruit, but I don't think I've had no weird cravings that you can think of, right?
No. You didn't have really weird cravings with Orion.
Yeah, I ate so many olives. Remember, you were like,
"Yeah, it's not like
I was mixing it in the cream cheese. I was putting it in
If you put olives in ice cream, I'd say that's weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think of mainstream Christianity's subtle implantation of Gnostic ideals, especially in their service and popular worship music? Well, Gnosticism has always been an issue. I mean, it was the impetus for 1 John. So it's always been part of it. They've always run on parallel lines. So it doesn't really freak me out, but I recognize it when I see it.
Jeez, overshadow.
Answer to all issues, talk to Jesus. I agree.
Agreed.
Do you agree that we will reach 100,000 cases per day? I don't know. Is he talking global? Is he talking America? I just don't know enough about that to really make an informed decision. I that's never been my field, so I just don't know. Do you think the fact that people turn to comedians more than politicians for truth is a sign of how messed up the world is? Also, shout out to Dave Chappelle. R.I. Save him at all costs. Well, the thing about comedians is that they make their living off of truth telling, right? So like what a comedian does is he tells the truth about something in regard to human nature or society. And then he shows the ironic, silly part about it. And that's what makes us laugh. So I think, comedians have always been, truth tellers, and people are starting to figure out that these politicians are not. And so it actually makes sense when you really think about it.
Bye, Overshadow Sean.
Later, Sean. He just came in, dropped some dollars, and bounced on us.
I am definitely. Are you Walking Dead or Game of Thrones? I think that I liked Game of Thrones, but then the ending was like.
Yeah. The ending
but we haven't finished Walking Dead.
Right. Well, I didn't want to. Yeah, we haven't finished Walking Dead. The ending of the Game of Thrones was just so bad to me that
I really liked Vikings. Is that what that one was called?
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah. I hope these people don't. I hope Ben isn't here. We spoil it for us. Yeah, I still have a problem with how Game of Thrones ended, but I got to give it to them because for the majority of, I mean, for 85% of it, it was the best show I'd ever seen.
What's
so I
up,
got to give it to Game of Thrones.
Little Fey Witch. Yeah, I am. I'm pregnant again. We're halfway through the pregnancy.
Thoughts on the Clockwork Elves? Are you talking about like DMT Clockwork Elves? Like that?
MDeath fan, we're gonna announce soon. We're gonna tell the kids first if we're having a boy or a girl.
Favorite hip hop artist? Oh, it's got to be Notorious B.I.G. I think Biggie was the best rapper of all time. Best rapper of all time. Hey, Ben, stay safe, my dude.
Have you played The Last of Us 2? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think it's like a dad and a daughter. I'm not sure.
Favorite horror movie? I don't like horror, but I think my favorite like twisty, scary one was Gone Girl. That one is well worth the watch.
Yeah. We should probably watch it tonight. I'm in that mood. Hey, Vin, thoughts on Tim Pool's histrionics of the new Civil War? I don't know if there's histrionics. I just don't believe there's going to be a new Civil War. And the reason I don't believe that is because obviously I have a vested interest in looking at what the Civil War was. And, you know, the scripture says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And so you had a social issue, you had a massive economic issue, you had a states' rights issues. And I just don't think there's enough energy on both sides to end up killing each other on a mass scale like that. I don't think there's that type of energy right now. And like, if you think about Black Lives Matter, for example, there was a big one in Portland where I live, and there was like 3,000 people, and I'd say 90% of them, which is a low estimate, were white. So I don't think it's going to happen. Have you read Jung's Collected Works, Volume 9, Part 2, Aeon, and the reasoning that you believe there won't be preachers, but there will be scientists in the New World Order, in the New World related to Jung's solution? No.
You skipped Zombie Holic. She said, Sinister creeped me out.
Have we seen that one? Sinister?
No. It looks creepy. Look, I clicked on it. Look at it.
That looks like Mick from Slipknot. That's exactly. They stole it from your boy. They must have took that from Mick.
Okay, so you can go ahead and answer Ao's question.
I haven't read that about Aeon, but if you could give me a Reader's Digest version, Ao, I'd love to hear it. There will be scientists in the New World, but there won't be preachers. And the reason in my mind for that is that the preacher's job is to teach you the Bible and to bring you to God. And so in the New World, all of us will have made our final decisions and we're brought to God. So the preacher's now obsolete. But I believe that the universe is going to be our jurisdiction, and that there are going to be people who apply the scientific method and other things to help us understand the genius of God, which is going to then result in more praise and honor to God. So when I say we worship God for eternity in the New World, I am not saying that it's, simply just musicians singing and people, singing. It is being who and what God made us to be, and then working that out in the universe such that we get overcome with joy and fascination with God, which then results in us saying God is awesome. And so that's how we'll worship him through all eternity. So I believe that there are going to be, if you're a musician now, I think Head, is going to be a musician in the next world. He's going to be a specialist at that. And there's going to be different instruments and all types of different things. We're just going to max out human potential for all eternity. And so there will be a necessity for scientists, but there won't be a necessity for preachers.
Good night, Lace Chaser.
That's kind of my idea.
Death Fan was like, so it's a boy then. Or rapping. I said, what makes you say that? And he said, just a guess, but I'm 2 for 2 boys. And I have this weird feeling that me and my fiance fiance and I make nothing but boys. My cousin is like that. They're up to like 5 girls.
Do you believe water baptism is essential for salvation? The thief on the cross, for example, disputes this theory. I believe it's only a Jewish purification ritual. No.
A truly creepy movie is The Fourth Kid.
Baptism is
The fourth time.
Baptism is not essential for salvation any more than a wedding is necessary for marriage. But the point of a wedding is to publicly declare to everybody your singular devotion to an individual. And so I would say, if you can do that, then you should do it. However, baptism, I put in the same category. You don't need it, but it is very good to publicly declare your allegiance to Christ, to the world. I think that's very, very important. Which one?
Tosco. I don't think it's the same level of, I don't think that it's exploitation. Because you know that they're not trapped in it.
Yeah, I don't really think it's that simple. I think that's a good challenge.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking out loud because the first time I've heard the argument.
Read the question. The question is,
how do you reconcile being against pornography? But
you read it.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you reconcile being against pornography but enjoying Game of Thrones? Is that not in the same scale of exploitation?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, me personally, I don't think I could be quick to say it's not the same thing. I'm always very, very skeptical of those types of arguments because it works too conveniently for me. So I'm going to have to really think about that.
Yes, Cody, we're pregnant again.
Because when you think about Harvey Weinstein, he was pressuring girls to do all types of craziness. So we can't say that just because a girl is a big famous actor that she wasn't pressured to do something she didn't want to do. Can't say that. How do you know? I mean, it's documented that Hollywood does that to people. So I don't think that that's a
yeah, but I think that anybody involved in Game of Thrones knows that that's a very big possibility that that's going to happen. I mean, there was a lot of it.
That doesn't change anything for me. Because if your agent is saying, hey, this is a massive big break for you, but she really doesn't want to do it, but her agent is telling her this is how she's going to get a massive break, then I
Yeah, I don't know either. Because remember we were watching that thing where they were saying that a lot of the nudity now is not actually real. It's
yeah.
I don't know if there's that in there.
Yeah. I just think he has a point, and I think it's something I have to think through. Because those explanations don't really do it for me right now, what you're saying. Tasco, the next time I do a fireside, ask me again. I'll be able to think more clearly.
Thinking about that.
What do you think of women making false accusation like Johnny Depp's situation?
He said okay, and then he put that racist symbol toward you.
No, not all nudity is pornography. I agree with that. It depends on the context. And Michelangelo's David is not. I don't consider that pornography. What do you think of women making false? Well, I think it's terrible. You know, obviously as a black person, you know, you had Emmett Till, who was killed because of a false accusation. I get very upset when it's exposed that a woman's making a false accusation because Sori and I worked a lot with the downtown area where we lived, and the vast majority of those girls had been sexually assaulted, and they almost never get believed. And so when it comes out that a woman has made a false claim, then it continues that type of a culture. So it really bothers me when that happens. Jung's argument seemed to be that science and religion cannot stand together unless integrated into each other, essentially to put the spirit of the Bible in contemporary terms for the modern man. I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't believe that science is necessarily different from religion, I think it most likely flows out of a religious worldview. I mean, Francis Bacon was a religious person, and he was an Anglican, and he was the one that gave us the scientific method. So I don't accept the premise that there is a vast dichotomy between science and religion. It wasn't Bacon, but somebody else said basically that he does science in order to think God's thoughts after him. And then there's a philosophical question of science. Scientists assume that laws of logic exist and are fixed and will not change. And it's from that basis that you have the scientific method. But if the universe is completely random and purposeless, then how can you make that assumption? So I don't think I agree with you on that one.
There's 2 super chats that came through.
Oh, are you going to have another baby registry?
It depends.
I have a hard.
Right now, we see he's going to say what he has a hard time doing it. Right now, we're trying to move, and this apartment has bed bugs, so we're trying to get out of here. He's not trying to get out of here because of the bed bugs. It's more a space issue. But if we move, then we're going to have to get rid of all the stuff that we have. So in that case, we might, do something. But if we're staying here, then we basically have everything we need, because Orion is only a year old, so we barely, need anything. Not too late. Okay, so thank you. We are Resolute, WAR, and AO said, "I'd tell you more, but it'd only be a disservice to the material. I'd suggest picking it up. It's a terrifying read."
What is it? The Jung book?
I think so. Yeah.
AO said, "I'd tell you more, but I'd only be." Hello.
Hey. This is. Hey, I think you gotta.
Yeah. Mute us.
You gotta mute us. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, can I introduce you real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is the big homie, Taya Black Rose, who...
Hello, everyone.
I met sister on Middle America, so we're going to have a discussion about a couple things, and you guys can watch, so that's cool. Babe, can you pass the mic? Because I want to make sure she comes across loud and clear for everybody. Okay, so... Taya, is it Taya or Taya?
Taya.
Taya, okay. So off you go. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I want to start off right off the bat that I have a lot of emotions in the topic because I'm Ukrainian, and right now, Russia is having a war with us for 6 years. They have attacked us, and they occupied the Crimea on the southern part of Ukraine, and they occupied some territories on the east of Ukraine. And my father, he voluntarily went to war, and he lost his eye during the battle.
Holy shit!
Wow.
So, guys, if you don't remember, you're not familiar. This kind of happened during the Obama administration. Remember, and Obama said there's going to be a red line. I think the Russians took over Georgia, and then they went after the Ukrainians, right?
Yeah, so it was Russia did a series of attacks on different countries. It started with Georgia, then it was Moldova, then it was Ukraine, and then they basically intervened into Syria, but they have some legal rights to do that.
Yeah, horrible. Can everybody hear, sister? She's talking. I set up my mic so I could make it louder. Okay, so that's the context for you. So tell me about how you feel about that in relation to the video I was shooting.
Yeah, so in the video you mentioned that the whole scandal was the investigation into the Taliban Russia conspiracy. You said that we shouldn't rush it into media because the people in embassies might get hurt. And my response to it is that people who work in Russian embassies, they work for Russian government, and most of them, they're KGB. That's how things work since the Soviet Union. And for the most post-Soviet countries, that's like that. So it's not only Russia sends spies into the embassies to work in the embassies in the other countries. So my response was that why we should be concerned about lives of people who work for the government, which kills civilians all over the world.
Well, for a couple of reasons. One is that I'm pro-life, and I try to apply my pro-life ethic to every concept, not just abortion. I apply it to war. I even apply it to healthcare, even immigration to some degree. So because of my pro-life stance, what I was saying in the video was we have spent probably 3 or 4 years demonizing Russia in an afactual way. And so one of the things I said was my main issue in the first video and the second video really is that I don't want to destroy the fragile peace that we have with the Taliban. One, because I've got people over in Afghanistan that are very important to me, one of whom is in this channel. And the other reason being that Afghan civilians are important to me. And anytime Americans do war, civilians get killed in masses. So there were a lot of reasons that I had for it. Now, then I said, think about the human cost, because a lot of these guys are getting death threats and they're getting in the UK and the United States. I agree with you. There's probably KGB or maybe even GRU elements in a Russian embassy, but we do the same thing as Americans. As a matter of fact, there was a high-profile diplomat that died some time ago. And he was an agency guy, but he was being a diplomat. So, and we as the country have done horrific things to the world for the last 20 years. And so that doesn't mean that we shouldn't care about the fact that an American diplomat or an American agent got killed over there, because all life is precious. So that's why I understand your animus toward Russia, though. I completely get it.
Yeah. So another thing to point out is, of course, in most of the situations, countries send spies to work in embassies. But to convey my point, I want to say that the not only the spies, but all people who work for the government of any country should be responsible for the actions of the country. And yes, I understand if there can be consequences to the actions which could be taken against Russian agents, the retaliation against U.S. agents, and back and forth. But in this case, I think that those people, the agents, they know what they signed up for.
Well,
it's
again,
not like you're a civilian and you don't know that you can be killed or other things can happen to you.
100%. I agree with you. However, again, number one, I think you probably agree with me that not every single person in a Russian embassy is KGB. And so because of that, because we don't know who is who, we should default on the side of life, is my perspective. And again, the other thing is, to me, the Russians were essentially inconsequential to the story. The real issue for me is Afghanistan and what that's going to do to the Taliban, what it's going to do to Afghan children, and what it's going to do to U.S. soldiers.
Yes, maybe I mentioned this before, but I'm going to repeat that. I don't think that the whole thing should be should be public in the first place. I would consider the main issue is that the people who did the reports, they had to follow with it. And okay, at the time when the first video arrived, I had 50-50 thoughts on is it if they delivered the report to Trump or not. But regardless, they should have dig into it deeper and maybe to do something backstage.
Well, like I said in the second video, the various intelligence agencies don't necessarily take their directive from the president. So as I quoted in the second video, they were working on it constantly. The DNI were, which is just a co-location of intelligence apparatus. So they have been looking into it. It's not Trump's job to tell them to look into it. They function autonomously, and they've been doing it. The leaks, however, have made things harder for them to gather and collect significant intelligence. So I hear you, but the narrative that Trump did nothing is just it's misguided and it's untrue, because the folks who are supposed to be dealing with it directly are dealing with it directly as we speak.
I would agree with it, and I would say that this entire story, it's I don't know the correct English phrase, it smells funny, because I think that in the U.S. intelligence, there are very professional people that are working, and they don't do anything without thinking about the consequences.
Who is this?
U.S. intelligence. I don't think they do anything without thinking about the consequences of their own actions.
Did you see the second video?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you see the NSA review on what happened in 2003 to 2005 in the Iraq War with the CIA?
Yes, that's what I was leaning to, that this story is actually not new. I was digging on Eastern European websites and newspapers, and such information appeared in early 2006, and it wasn't that information appeared in newspapers from in various countries, which the source of which was the Russian Geo.
Well, yeah, and like I said, 2006 would be the Bush administration, 2009 onwards would be the Obama administration. And the difference between Bush and Obama and Trump is that Trump brokered a peace deal with the Afghans. And so to me, out of those three, he's the only one that not acting is in our best interest. But based on what I posted in the NSA, it is not true that the CIA only functions after careful deliberation on facts. I mean, they released an NIE about Iraq that was full of holes and flawed and unverified. And as the NSA chronicles, they also were bullied by John Bolton to report a certain way about it. So and then on top of that, they've declared war publicly via Chuck Schumer on the president since 2018. So I'm very, very skeptical about the quote intelligence community, because it makes it sound like there's just one homogenous group of intel folks. And look, the philosophy of the FBI to the CIA to the NSA are completely different. So yeah, that's where I'd go with that. The CIA does not, especially in the last 20 years, does not always verify and act carefully.
Yes, I would think so, and we don't know a lot of information, and obviously we don't know the motivation of a lot of players which are in the background, and that there's every time the intelligence does something publicly, it's has its certain political agenda behind it.
100%.
Also, it could have a money agenda behind it.
100%. And the other thing that people aren't talking about is, so the two sources are captured Afghan militants and criminals. And what people don't understand is these folks, I think there's a stereotypes that Americans have about these folks in Afghanistan, that they're Stone Agers, they don't know anything, they're not very intelligent or not very savvy. These folks are extremely intelligent and savvy people. They have, and any agency person will tell you this, there have been so many times when they've let us down, red herrings, down crazy, whatever. One of them accomplished, one of them got through the gate. One of them double-crossed a senior CIA operative, got through a gate and killed a whole bunch of those folks. So these Afghans are very shrewd, intelligent people. And so that's the other angle that's not even being touched as far as the credibility of these guys. They will say anything to barter for their freedom. And so it's very possible to me. I didn't say it in the Fireside because this is all speculative. I mean, in the video, because this is all speculative. But anybody who's ever interrogated those folks knows that they watch the news. They know what's going on. And so bringing up Russia and all the rest of it, I could completely see a guy getting captured and say, hey, I'm going to concoct this story and get my freedom with it. It happens all the time. So that's the other angle that we don't think about, but it's there.
Yeah, but it could be either way, because we don't know exactly who was captured by which circumstances. And of course, as you said, they could be questioned, or they just came to the U.S. Willingly and told the information because that was their best option to be alive.
Yeah, I mean, either way could be good. And the fact that we don't know the circumstances of how the interrogation went. We don't know the players. We don't know how much money was supposedly bartered with. There's so many things we don't know. And as a Democrat Security Council member said, that even the statements from these folks were inconsistent, contradictory, and not credible. So to act on that type of intelligence and to put the peace between us and the tally in jeopardy, I think is a horrible idea.
Of course, it would be a horrible idea if actions would be taken publicly. Again, maybe I repeat myself, but I think that if there would be a political will of both the president's office and the intelligence to find out the truth, they would did it, and then they would take an actions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a president looking at the current death total with American troops, I wouldn't act on it. What I would do is I would threaten the tally, and I'd say, look, if I get this verified again, we're going to reinstitute hostilities, and we will kill a lot more of you than you will of us. But even if it was true initially, I would not act on it in Afghanistan, because my main concern in Afghanistan right now is getting the guys home. We've been there for 20 years, and reigniting a conflict with the tally is I mean, think about this. Taya, we have people that were born in war with Afghanistan. We've been there for 19 years. So there's some 18-year-old kid whose entire life has been at war with these people. And so we've got to find a way to hedge our bets, cut our losses, and get out of there, because we'll be there for another 40, 50, 60 years. The tally, they're motivated by religion, and they're not ever going to concede to us at all. And so we just need to get out of there. The fact that they were willing to enter into this deal with us says a lot. And if we can honor that and keep that moving, then we need to do that.
I will agree with it totally that the best way of actions is stop the war and bring guys back home. And that's good for everyone. But there are political moves around the globe, and each move has its own consequences. And if you take your troops out of Afghanistan, you can make additional finance to the other military groups like NATO on the other parts of the world to make up to what you taken out.
Yeah, I think here's my big thing, if I'm honest with you, about Russia. I would love, when Obama said, hey, here's this line and you can't cross the line, and Putin crossed the line and Obama did nothing. And I understand why he did nothing, because we're in Iraq, we're in Niger, we're all over the world. And I think it was silly to try to bluff Putin, because everybody knew Putin was going to call that bluff. But what I would love is for America to take an active role in getting the UN and NATO to have combined forces to put extreme pressure on Russia to stop their aggression in those regions. And the fact that we don't do that, whether it's Obama or Trump, is disappointing me. Now, obviously, we've got COVID, we've got our nation's upside down right now. So to some level, I understand it. But I would hope if Trump gets reelected that he would take a leadership role and really put some pressure on Russia, because you know this better than me. They're just going through the world and doing whatever they want to do and thumbing their nose at anybody and challenging people to check them. And so far, nobody has done anything significant to make this guy pay a political price for his imperialism.
Yes, my personal opinion is that nothing hurts much more than hurting their money. And I think there is more pressure that U.S. could do to make them bleed money.
I agree. I'll let you have the last word, Taya. Thank you so much for you're very, very thoughtful. Like, I'll say something and you'll pause for a second and think, and then you're very, very thoughtful. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the conversation. It was a pleasure. And for all the viewers and listeners, I want to say that, guys, stay safe. Don't undermine the COVID situation. I'm living currently in Arizona, and it's getting worse and worse every day. And love each other.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taya. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
Taya Black Rose, ladies and gents. To your point, Amy Lee, of course we're doing the same thing. We're just doing it worse. So I agree with you. We are doing the same thing. Saludos desde Uruguay para los dos. Saludos.
So,
what's up?
So Mega Metallica 97.
Yeah.
Only 23 years old. He asked us to put him on his prayer board. His mom died of COVID beginning of May. She's only 53. Sad. He said that we're helping out a lot, watching our stuff. Sad.
Sorry to hear that, my guy.
He got a song reaction from us. I added it to the list today, and he's dedicating it to his mom.
Can you go into email and he sent his shirt size and all that. Get him and his address. And he said get him a double XL.
Who? Megatallica? Oh, you already talked to
I
him.
think it was Megatallica. No. That was somebody else. It was Lace something. Sorry, forget it. But yeah,
he said someone gave her the virus intentionally in the hospital too. She had dementia. I think he said dementia. That's just terrible. Yeah, Tony Glock. It is so, it's so completely true. My family started treating me differently once they knew. My mom still comes to visit, but you could tell everybody else was like, "Blah."
I can tell you from out here, we're not really sweating the tally anymore. More concerned about Afghani civilians getting hurt by the lack of action on our part. Yeah, Dusted. I mean, you know, at the end of the video, I talked about they had 1 week where they coordinated 431 attacks, killed 126 civvies, and 290 Afghan police military. So they're still doing a bunch of killing. And I know that your warrior spirit is out there because, you know, you want to do what you do. But it's time for you guys to come home. So.
Megatallica, I can't remember which forum we were talking on today. I think it was through Patreon. If it was, can you send me another message?
Chris Pregler in the house. That name sounds so familiar. Do you guys like sci-fi? I do like sci-fi, although I like to read sci-fi better than watching it, because I just feel like it's always corny when you watch it, except for The Matrix.
I don't care if it's corny. I like sci-fi.
Deus Ex Machina is a sci-fi movie. That's what the Deus Ex Machina, I think it is. It's with the what do you call it? That's sci-fi. You remember that one, right? With the girl and she was an android or whatever, and then the guy fell in love with her.
Yes, I was just talking to the kids about that one.
That's August 22nd is the official release date. Well, praise God, Gershok. We can finally do Covers Week. Good Lord.
Honestly, I think that we might just do his and then do Covers Week as something that we release when I have a baby.
My dad died last October, and I know he's in heaven, but I struggle with that, and I'm jealous he's there and not with us. As a Christian, it's shaken my faith. Yeah. Yeah, man. I hear you on that. Can you buy my mixtape? Depends on if you're whack or not.
Yes, Gershok, we're pregnant again. I'm halfway through the pregnancy. We're like 20 and a half weeks.
Pony in the house. How you doing, Pony?
Somebody, like a couple people gave some pretty good ideas of, you know, what to do to manage the bed bugs thing temporarily.
Oh.
One person was saying, well, Tony was saying what you have to do is you can spray them with Dawn dish soap and water, and that like kills them, which when I had a garden, that's what we would take. We would make like a soapy bucket of water and throw the bugs in it that we found in the garden. So he's saying spray that on the bed bugs and they go bottom up. It messes with their respiratory. I don't know why, but so anyway, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can submerge his pack and play in a tub full of water with soap in it. And maybe because I can't get them all, I take care of the whole thing and then he still bites the next day. It's very frustrating. So good advice. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Thanks, Alan. Jeez.
Look at this.
Jeez, look at that.
What happened? Well, is Alan okay?
My dad got murdered 2 years ago. Whether which child was whose, because him and another guy dated the same woman and they killed him. They would have had to deal with it, and I'm still struggling with it. Jeez.
Wait, who said that?
Chris Hergler.
Jeez. That's crazy. Stranger Things with all those 80s. Oh, man, I love Stranger Things so much. I love that show. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Such an awesome show.
Jay, do I need a reason? Shout out to Cassia.
Man, Cassia has been killing it on the Poets of the Village page. She's been crushing it. It's insane. There are people who have 5 kids during COVID. I have 4, and it's cray. Y'all are filled with uplifting stories tonight. I hear you. Sometimes you gotta let it out. Have you seen Stargate? I think I've seen the show Stargate SG-1. I think it's called, but I'm pretty sure there's a movie too.
Oh yeah, we love Stranger Things. We watched it with the kids.
Salute, Nestor. Good to see you, buddy. Combat flip-flops. I think I've seen that one already, actually. Let me see. 275. What if you get shot in combat?
Why are you? How are you? Sane, Fallen? What happened? Why are you stuck in the hospital?
Is Combat Flip-Flops a video or a channel?
Stab cats. What's up?
Taffer, you've been studying for depression?
Megatalica.
A couple of our friends have been suffering from depression recently.
Yeah. We were talking on a forum today, or I sent you a message on a forum, and I don't know if it was Patreon or if it was an email or where we were talking, but I needed you to send me another message so we could talk a bit more.
We're thankful for you, Ernie. It's been a long since I've been around, been able to talk, lots of recording demos, cutting ties, making new ones, shooting music videos, entering management. Our lives are very different now. Is it good different, though? Like business is going good for you guys? You're able to support yourself with your music? I would love for that to be the case, my guy. I can only imagine with COVID that depression has got to be pretty out of control. Yeah, bro. 100%.
It's the one where... Remember I told you about this song?
Yeah.
I didn't know why he had picked this song. He just said it was what he was going through at the moment.
That's what kind of gets me. Like, people can have, I understand, like, people can have different opinions and express them, but man, the COVID-19 stuff is hard for me because we've lost people. You know, one of the folks that we worked with downtown died of COVID-19. You know, like, people are literally dying, and then we had a scare with some of our own folks having it. So it's hard when I hear people trivialize it. Oh, the flu. It's like, this is not the flu. Good, different. We're finally learning who our real teammates are, and we're connecting with professionals who will permanently be part of the camp. That's right. There you go. We're going to be doing a music video soon. We're in the writing process. Jada Spirited is going to be on guitar. It's going to be good. Megatalica says he doesn't have a message on Patreon. I'm dying to see your reaction on that feminist video I sent Sori. Will you really do it, please? She sent you a feminist video?
Yeah, you said you'd do whatever she wanted, and so she sent a song reaction for us to do.
Okay. That should be interesting. Let me tell you, as someone who almost made it in the music industry, you're wrong. Nobody has your back. Yikes. I feel high tonight, and I have not taken any drugs. Good, Tony. That's because you're hanging out with your boy. Half an hour, guys. Half an hour. Have you heard of the Astarte series? No, I have not. What is your take on all the craziness of Pizzagate, pedo, adrenochrome stuff going on? I don't know what the adrenochrome stuff is. I think Pizzagate is a example of why. You know what? I'm not really going to comment on that right now. I'm backing out. Shut up, all you morons. Alex Hefner just took up the guitar. You should have him do a cameo. We might when we shoot the video. We might.
That would be cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
That would be sick. Can you and Sori pray for my grandma? She's got 2 cancers, one for 8 years and the other for a year, and is on hospice care, bad conditions. We had 2 villagers that had COVID, and we were praying like crazy. So I don't care what anybody says. It works. Chris.
Find a damn message.
Are you an avid Star Wars fan? No. No. When I get out of the hospital, I love to jam some heavy stuff in. We're gonna play. It's gonna be fun. Do I believe it's real? Jack, if you're talking about COVID, we're up to 128K deaths. So in about 4 months. So I think that's pretty real. Stage 4 lung cancer, stage 3 breast cancer. Yes, I believe it's real. I don't even. I'm not sure I even understand the question. I mean, people are dying left and right. Also bad, different. COVID-19 has caused a lot of venues to shut down, dates to get postponed for us, and adjusting to new streaming meta. Really expensive given our financial situation. Yeah, I know. Do you think the virus is a setup for a one world government? I do not. My wife has Cushing's disease. Prayers for her, please. Candy's her name. Cushing's disease. I'm going to look that up so that I can pray intelligently.
Yeah, but you got to write who asked us to do that. So then when they say, hey, you have us on the board, we know who it was.
There it is. Resolute. Favorite series of movies? I like Lord of the Rings. There is this movie called, what's the name? It wasn't, man, my memory's killing me right now. Divergent. I like the Divergent series. Prior to this week, I was seeing almost no one in mass at work. Been better this week. Whoa, Kel, are you an essential worker, or did they just open it up for you guys? Please pray for this lady I just talked to. She has to travel 7 hours to get her kids because someone has hurt them.
Okay, Megatalica, I found you. So I sent you a message in Patreon. So when you get a second, can you message me back?
I never had any time off, even during the lockdown. Jeez, here we go. Capitalism at work. Did they at least bump you up a little bit with hazard pay or whatever they call it? I like the Percy Jackson. I like the first Percy Jackson. I don't think I got through the second Percy Jackson, though. Favorite song on Korn's first record? Probably Helmet in the Bush. Taya's asking if you believe in guardian angels.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
There's a verse that talks about it. The little ones having angels that watch over them. And I don't know. I think that it makes sense that if there can be evil forces around you, there's also good ones. Especially if you're asking God for them.
Will y'all be doing Cradle reactions soon? Yeah, we've got that lined up pretty soon. Why helmet in the bush? I just the riff. That's probably my favorite song on that record. No bump and pay. At least I got 1,200 from the stimulus. Help me, Lord. So much craziness happening in this world, man. Are angels the same as jinn? No, in Islamic cosmology, jinn are something other than angels.
Jeez.
Leland not only got no pay raise for being essential, but his job forced him to use some of his stimulus check to get a webcam for Zoom meetings.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Not really, but wow.
That's the thing that gets me when people talk about cultural Marxism. I get it. There's some problems with Marxism, but whoo, like you literally, we make people slaves to the dollar and put their lives on the line to live. It's so maddening to me. I accepted my first teaching job today. I will be teaching middle school English completely from home. I'm relieved that I can do distance teaching since I'm immune compromised. That's awesome, Cassia. Can you imagine having Cassia as your teacher? We're going to be on for another 19 minutes, Dustin. Jesse's working through it also. No pay raise, hazard pay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you could get rid of any type of music, probably modern pop country.
The stuff that my kids listen to. They have this really, really annoying song, and they know it's annoying, so they always ask me what I think about it because they know I think it's annoying.
Rich. First two books.
Wow, shut that off.
First two books were great. Third book sucked. Fourth book prequel was good. Have they made a third movie yet for Divergent? That would be cool. There was like a part 2. How many Divergent movies were there? Let's see. Movie. Oh, there is a part 3. There is a Divergent 3. Did I see it yet? Ascendant. Wow. Okay, so they canceled the third movie because they're going to do a whole series on it. Big shout out to the essential working homies, for sure. Do you think systemic injustice is real? Yes, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. Hard agree. Country on the radio today is Southern pop garbage. Yeah, for sure. Rapping for Jesus. Butter, is that the one with the 2 old people? Oh, Butter, yeah, I've seen that one. We should probably do it when we have extra time.
When, Ben?
Thoughts on Upchurch? What is Upchurch? Serious question. Why do you keep saying Francis Bacon created a scientific method when that is demonstrably false and even just the smallest amount of research? Okay, well, demonstrate it. Demonstrate it, Ben. Who came up with the scientific method?
Is Creed is main stage or no? Not really.
They were a pretty big band. I didn't pay much attention to them. I'm not a fan of Antifa. I don't know what Updog is. What do you think of Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz, during the 2016 presidential, race or whatever, talked about carpet bombing the Middle East. And ever since he said that, I was out on him because I'm pro-life. So that's my take on the big homie. There's a sense in which I'm a single issue voter, and so when you talk about massacring loads of innocent people as a bragging point when you're trying to campaign, I'm just not a fan of that. So there you go. Changing cell number and not reconnecting. Way to throw Sori under the bus to be the only
contact. Under the bus? You've never done that in your life. What happened?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, I seem to be the only contact. I'm going to throw him under the bus. I keep telling him to email you back about the website because he's the guy. He's the business guy to make those decisions.
Why everybody's talking about it like it's
my decision. Oh, my stomach hurts.
I'd love to see Vin interview the dudes from Decibel Omega. Honestly, I'd be equally interested in talking to the dude from Vatane. We were this close to getting a Vatane interview, and I've reached out to Decibel Omega myself. They haven't. Whoa, Brian! I've been homeless for a month and have been dealing with drama for fam in my church. Send you guys an email about how much you have meant to me and everything around me has failed. I've regraded to my addictions. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. There's no drama like church drama, I'll tell you that. Good Lord. I am voting against Democrats on the single issue that they're all for banning vaping. All of them want to ban vaping? It's so weird what politicians decide to emphasize. It's so weird. I don't know what Updog is. What is Updog? Is it a thing? Band. What's a thing? What is it? AO in the house. Are you familiar with the works of Graham Hancock? Yes. Yes, I am familiar with Graham Hancock. Very fascinating stuff. So I don't go to my church. My last church only wanted me in their church because my dad had money. Yikes, bro. I'm sure there were some people in that church that appreciated you being there, but I definitely feel you. Definitely feel you. Eric is an interesting dude, kind of terrifying actually for some of the interviews I've seen with him. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely carrying some spirits, that's for sure. That's for sure. So he's clearly the intelligent one here. I agree. You're not going to get any argument from me.
Okay, I just read your email. Megatalica. I'll share it with Vinny later too, so he has a heads up.
Do you believe the recent extreme left movement has been co-opted by Marxism and represents a new type of non-theistic cultism? I think Trump has a cult of personality.
No, Ricky Ledbetter, we don't.
I think Obama did too. As far as the extreme left goes, I don't really think we have a real extreme left group in America. Like, they're not going around killing people and blowing up buildings and things like that. The rioting that took place could be directly correlated to
Tony
George Floyd and not a systemic Marxist agenda. So, no.
You didn't miss any super chats, did you, to thank them? Did you get that one up there?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
Have you heard of a Christian band called The Protest? They're so good. I interviewed them a few years ago. They're so cool. I think you guys, whoa, I'll have to check them out.
I'm very picky when it comes to Christian bands.
Well, I think you're biased when it comes. Like the minute you hear they're Christians, you're like, oh,
yeah,
gosh.
You're better off not to tell me they're Christian. Honestly, for real.
Yeah, I got the impression that Death Spell was going to be very difficult to get to, for sure. Have you considered making a channel about other reactions than music? Yes. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's like no time. When we move, I would like to make some videos of the different things that I cook.
Yeah.
But my kitchen is, and I think it would be fun to shoot those videos in an actually cool kitchen.
If you think we're the only life in the universe, that's pretty arrogant. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. As I Lay Dying was a Christian band, but after their singer went to jail for hiring a hitman on his ex-wife, they admitted it was a marketing gimmick. Get me that article. Although when As I Lay Dying got really famous, I think there was a lot of there was like a Christian straight edge movement happening in music. So maybe Passover and the creeping death discussion.
Yeah, I sent you his message.
Oh, you sent it to me on my phone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we saw that one. You believe in aliens? I believe that they are more likely than not to exist. I would be extremely surprised if there were no aliens in the universe. You should stream Fortnite. I'd watch the hell out of it. Tasco, we were going to.
The secret Gmail
stream
or vinandsori@gmail.com.
We were going to stream Fortnite, but then something happened.
Taffer.
What's up, dog? What is that? They're asking about my opinion on Up Dog. I'm like, what's Up Dog?
Did you Google it, babe?
No.
I'm assuming it's a band.
And I figured my friends could tell me. You know, like,
UPDOG? One word?
Yeah. There you go. Up Dog. Ultimate paralyzed of damaged organ genetics? Huh? I don't know. I don't think that's what it means. Ultimate paralysis.
Yeah, but look, there's an Office episode where I feel like they say something about that in there. Maybe they're just joking around with you. Because you're saying, what's up, dog? When they say up, dog, you're asking what it is, but then you're actually saying, what's up, dog?
Oh! Very, very, very well played. You devil.
Over and over.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, see, look. It's a joke.
I'm pretty sure you're getting trolled.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be right there with John Lennon.
Yeah.
With the John Lennon interview. Tony's like, we've been telling you. I'm gonna play a clip of this anytime somebody sends me an email. Dude, you're so intelligent. I can't believe your wow storage.
What's up, dog?
Oh, thank you. I got a ding ding. What's up, Sullivan? Love you, buddy. Xbox, Tony Glock. Lasted for over 10 minutes.
That is really funny, actually, because you're you. And you're so smart.
At least John Lennon knows what's up, dog. Very good line. You gotta include that in your Jeopardy thingamajiggy.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world? Good Lord. 8 minutes, guys. 8 minutes. Unbelievable. Dustin, you're supposed to be my friend, dog. Megatalica. Appreciate it, buddy. You're supposed to be my friend. What in the world? How'd you let me go out like that, bruh?
Oh, thanks, Megatalica.
Do you believe people who end their own lives automatically forfeit their chance to get to heaven? Send me an email, vinandsori@gmail.com. I generally never answer that question in a public forum because I feel like it's dangerous either way.
I can't remember who told me to check the email. So
due date is November 15th. I think, we'll have either Trump get reelected or Biden elected around the time that our child is born. So that'll be my one little solace when this is all over. How do you feel about Revelation 12, 1 through 17, next to his idea of a meteor coming from the Taurid meteor stream, specifically the seven star system of Pleiades? There's a striking semblance to me. Well, there's a lot of sort of cosmological, astrological stuff, imagery in the Old and New Testament. I'm a preterist idealist, and so I take those verses to be metaphorical. But I do think that a lot of the early biblical writers absolutely had, especially considering the Babylonian conquest, where they were able to, cross-pollinate with them. So I definitely think that that's in play there, for sure. Lori Pooh, $20. Thank you very, very much. Very, very much. Good to know it's still easy as always to play with these two. Yum, 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 yum. Each of you heard Job for a Cowboy? There was this guy, he used to have a channel, it's called the Underground Metal Elitist, and he used to list all these bands that he hated, and then he was like, Job for a Cowboy, and I was like, shit, we got to listen to Job for a Cowboy. I never got around to it. What's the best Job for a Cowboy song, AT? Whoa. Have you guys read the Book of the New Sun? It's like a sci-fi Bible.
Interesting.
Let me go to Google Books here and see if there's an audiobook version there. Such an interesting title.
Alan, I just messaged you back.
What's the name of that song? Book of the New Sun.
I don't know if Alan was the one that told me to check.
Book of the New Sun. The complete Book of the New Sun.
The Underground Metal Elitist is something else. Yeah, I don't really watch YouTube unless I'm watching like music that I like. And but his channel,
what?
I'd peek in.
Oh, I loved that channel. I love that channel. We would
sit there and watch it together. Oh, Taffer? Okay.
Nice try, Gershok. Fool me twice.
That's who Taffer is.
A letter of contempt to Vin and Sori was classic. I wish I would have downloaded that video. It was a classic video. No doubt, Seven Dusted. No doubt, buddy.
Taffer, I sent you an email and I put in there screenshots, and I need you to respond to those screenshots to bring some clarity.
Eating the Visions of God. That's a crazy name, huh? Eating Visions of God.
How tall are you guys? I'm 5'7". Vin is 5'3". I'm just kidding.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Job for a Cowboy is amazing. I own a few of their T-shirts. I think their personal best track is Buried Monuments. I live very close to their hometown.
I think Vin is like 5'9".
Buried Monuments. That might be culturally relevant. Remember, he was like, Job for a Cowboy. What kind of name is that for a band? Do you believe that researching demonology and learning about different kinds of demons is a dangerous task to go into? I think it depends on why you're doing it. There is something very seductive about darkness, though. And so I would avoid it unless you're in a situation where you need that type of information. And then the other thing is you got to be very, very careful about your source of information in those situations.
Tom waits. Vin off camera. Is Sori a doormat or a gangster? People comment how say you are abusive. No, if you guys saw us off camera, everybody would feel bad for Vin, especially when we're in a disagreement, because I have so much suppressed anger and sometimes it all comes out at once.
White woman in distress.
When he like finally gets to the point where he's like very angry, it's usually because I've pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and then finally he's like, okay, that's enough.
Like that time you attacked me in the mall. I didn't say that to you.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, wow, that was really strange. I really yelled at you. And like, I remember the way you were like wiping your hands, like looking at me.
Yeah, because I had my little exfoliator thing. Yes. So I was just watching it.
You weren't like, I thought that you would be angry, but you didn't look angry. You looked like confused and curious.
The lady had told me, she was like, because we were talking, she, you know, her brother's Israeli, her brother was, I said, yeah, I probably, you know, met your brother, da da da. And so we were talking, and then she was like, is your friend going to be? Is she going to be? I said, no. And then you showed up.
Dead wrong.
And you had all that heat. You came with all that action. And I was just like, I was really enjoying my exfoliating hands. You know, I can't stand dry hands.
You were just going slow, and you had the cloth. And you were wiping. Does Sori ever say sorry?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. A couple days later.
Yeah, it takes me a little while because for one thing, I don't want to apologize just because I'm trying to like patch something up. But then once I decide that I'm going to apologize, I want him to have a good reaction to my apology. And sometimes I think you don't accept the apology because you think that I'm not really sorry.
Well, if it's like 4 days, if it's like 4 days after the fact, I'm like,
yeah, but that's more genuine. I'm actually saying sorry when I'm actually sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
It takes me time sometimes before I'm like, okay, actually, I am sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Sorry, apologize at the beginning of every video they release. I'm out. Much love to you all. Well,
you sorry with no punk.
All right, guys. With that, we have to bid you adieu. It's been 2 hours. Man, 2 hours flew by quick, yo.
Yeah. Okay, honey, how do I forward this stuff back to him? Because he said he didn't get this email. Is there a way to these attachments here? I think this is the email up here. Yeah, right there, forward.
Yeah, but
is that not it?
See how it's the.
It's this. I wrote this.
Uh-huh.
And then these are the attachments. So this is the email.
Okay. So then go to forward and off you go.
Okay, Taffer, I'm gonna send it off to you again right now.
Gershok, send me a text when, like a week before. BM Fan has my new number, so just send him a text. And with that, you beautiful people, I got to get out of here.
If it's not clear, Taffer, we might end up having to just get on a call at some point to clarify because there's some confusion on my end.
Right on that paper, the feminist video, because y'all forget about it. Halsey Nightmare. I start getting shit. Text me again, Kellen Dross, before that, because that was like the 4th of July thing. So we're getting up at 11:30 tomorrow, and we'll be able to do some work. We don't have a main stage for tomorrow, do we? Okay.
Somebody stopped the recording like 10 hours ago to shoot a quick Middle America.
Oh, well, I had to get all my information. Don't blame me. Plus, you were sleeping.
I went to sleep after I'd been up.
How can you hijack this plane?
If you are sleeping.
If you are sleeping. All right, guys. I told you, get it from BM Fan, Kel. All right, guys. I I gotta.
Did you respond? To
Oh,
that?
hey, Vin, if we can we talk Passover? Yes. Next Fireside, we'll talk about Passover, inshallah. All right, guys. Robbie Hull. See you guys.
Bye.
You know what? A lot of pain in the chat stream tonight. And like I always say, God made us social animals so that we could multiply joy and divide sorrow. So I'm very, very proud of our community. People were sharing some really crazy stuff today. Really heavy stuff, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody encouraging their fellow villagers through that, because it's a hell of a thing to be a human being in this day and age. Good Lord. So good job, guys. And on that note, I am a Christian. I'm not forcing my religion on anybody, but I really feel led to pray for everybody. So I'm going to do that now. Jesus, thank you so much, my friends. God, you see the pain that they have, and I thank you, God, for giving them the courage to share it. I thank you for everybody here. I thank you for the relationships we've created. God, I pray you keep everybody safe physically, spiritually, mentally. God, anybody who has thoughts of suicide or thoughts of loneliness or thoughts of worthlessness or thought that nobody want them, God, I pray that they would really, really know how much they're valued. God, that statement from Spurgeon, imagine the value of a soul that both God and Satan are after it. So I pray, God, that you would give these people a glimpse into how much they're loved by you and how much they're loved by the angels. And I pray that you would surround them with the Trinity and that they would experience your love that is beyond words and peace that is beyond understanding. Thank you so much for all of my friends. Heal relationships, heal us all, and for God's sake, literally save us from ourselves in this country and the world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I love everybody. I got to get out of here now.
Bye,
it is time for us to take our walk. It's very important. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. How do I do it? End stream. Oh, the pain. End.